Mercedes just made a huge statement after Mexican Grand Prix. So we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Mercedes news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is Lewis Hamilton feels Mercedes has exhausted all options to improve his pace. After a difficult US GP, Lewis Hamilton was hoping for a bounce back in Mexico City this weekend. But so far, things didn't quite go his way leading up to the race. Hamilton was out-qualified by his young compatriot George Russell again, and with just 5 more Grand Prix races left in his Mercedes career, the 7-time world champion has given up. Mercedes' new floor in Austin last weekend did not help them much, with both drivers struggling with the W15's handling. Russell crashed in practice, which led to the Mercedes team giving him components from an older spec, which ultimately helped him finish in position 6, despite starting from the pit lane. In Mexico City, Russell crashed again after riding the curbs aggressively at turn 8, forcing the team to replace his already older parts with even older ones. The new floor fitted to Russell's car was the same model Mercedes used in Miami back in May. Fortunately for Russell, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, but the same cannot be said for Hamilton. Russell finished qualifying in Mexico in P5, 1 place ahead of Hamilton. "I'm losing all the time. That's why I've been so bad in qualifying all year," Hamilton said, as per Sky Sports F1. "It's a normal thing, and I'm used to it." Mercedes has tried everything, Hamilton insisted, but they simply haven't been able to get his W15 back to a proper operating window. In the same interview, Hamilton also revealed that during practice, he felt good. He finished P7 and P5 and FP2 and FP3 respectively, which on paper isn't all that good, but the car was responding how he wanted it to, which made him confident ahead of qualifying. But then, Mercedes did something they probably shouldn't have done. "All we changed was the rear wing, and it's just a drastic difference," said the 39-year-old, who will now hope for better performance come the race. Hamilton has won 2 races in 2024, which is his last year with Mercedes, with whom he has been with for 12 years. Before he jumps ship to Maranello to drive for Ferrari next year, he would love to win 1 more. However, considering the way the W15 is responding, it doesn't seem too likely. Mercedes Formula One team principal Toto Wolff has admitted that the Silver Arrows are working on the limit in their bid to stay within the cost cap. George Russell's crash at the Mexican Grand Prix has racked up more costs for Mercedes, something that has become a worrying habit for the F1 team. Kimi Antonelli had a nasty crash during his maiden F1 outing at Monza, while Russell also found the barriers in Austin last weekend. Lewis Hamilton also took a trip across the gravel that ended the 7-time F1 champions race at the US GP after just 3 laps, with the Mercedes mechanics being put to work during the All-Americas triple header. Wolff has admitted that Russell's chassis needs to be repaired for next weekend's race in Brazil, raising concerns about the finances involved in replacing these parts as the team looked to stay within the cost cap for the current season. The second story is Allisson reveals the truth about the performance of Mercedes W15. The inconsistent performance of the Mercedes W15 at the United States Grand Prix was likely caused by the team flirting a bit too closely with the ground. That is the theory of Mercedes technical director James Allisson, who believes the team pushed it too far at the Circuit of the Americas as both George Russell and Lewis Hamilton made sizable mistakes. Mercedes appeared to be contenders in Austin, Texas, after Russell fell just 0.012 seconds short of setting pole position for the sprint race. However, the team failed to hit those heights again for the remainder of the weekend, as Russell crashed in the closing moments of qualifying the following day after Hamilton could only manage 19th, his worst qualifying result since the 2017 Brazilian Grand Prix. Hamilton spun into retirement at the same corner Russell went off on the second lap of the race, though Russell showed strong pace by recovering from a pit lane start to finish 6th. Appearing on Mercedes' post-race debrief show, Allisson claimed Mercedes were likely too ambitious with setup in Austin with the move to run the car too close to the ground, inducing some fairly unpleasant characteristics. Asked why Mercedes were unable to sustain their strong sprint qualifying pace over the rest of the weekend, he said, "That is the million-dollar question." Not only did George nearly secure the pole in that session, Lewis nearly smashed it utterly out the park. He was way ahead of any of the times until he got a bit tangled up with Colapinto. In terms of why that did not materialize in the rest of the weekend, that is the key question for us. My guess is that we were flirting a bit too closely with the ground. These cars like running low, and you generally pick up lap time as you're able to get the car nearer to the ground, but push it too far and the car starts behaving in a fairly unpleasant fashion. If you just hit a bump wrong, it'll unseat the car, make the rear end come out on you, and just deliver a level of performance that when it's good, it's great. But if you just hit a bump at the wrong moment, a crosswind at the wrong time, then you get punished for it. And my guess is that we were just pushing our luck a little bit too much in terms of how near to the ground we got, how stiff we ran it. The car started bouncing, the left front started bouncing, and the rear end just came around, the same as George in qualifying. Toto Wolff, the Mercedes boss, absolved Hamilton of any blame in the incident after the race, telling Sky F1, 100% car. He was not even pushing at that stage. We saw it with George on Saturday. Perhaps that was maybe over-pushing it, but still abrupt, losing it, and putting it in the wall. Today there was wind and a bit of dirty air from the car in front. We definitely have an issue. I don't know if yesterday was the same. Lewis Hamilton doesn't lose the car on lap 2 like this. While Hamilton questioned whether the new aero package was to blame for his and George Russell's difficulties in Austin, Wolff remains confident in the updates and intends to stick with them for the rest of the season. Mercedes introduced a series of aerodynamic improvements to its W15 in Austin, but the weekend was far from smooth. Both Hamilton and Russell faced challenges, including near-identical spins at turn 19, Russell's crash in qualifying, and Hamilton's race-ending incident raising doubts over the car's stability. Hamilton himself suggested that the new upgrades might be the culprit. But the team principal himself, Wolff, seems to see things differently. Reflecting on the United States Grand Prix, Wolff dismissed the notion that the recent updates caused the issues. He attributed the problems to the car's interaction with the bumpy surface of the Circuit of the Americas, rather than any inherent flaw in the new developments. "I don't think we have a fundamental issue on the upgrade. Very much," he told media in Austin. "My thinking is, it's more interaction on aero and on mechanical stuff. Therefore, we're going to continue with the upgrade. It makes no sense to not because there's a lot of lap time you leave on the table. However, it seems as though the team will be splitting their packages for the Mexican GP due to problems caused by Hamilton's spin in Austin." The third story is Kimi Antonelli set for second chance as latest Mercedes appearance confirmed. Lewis Hamilton's F1 2025 replacement, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, will make his second practice appearance for Mercedes at this weekend's Mexican Grand Prix, the team have confirmed. It comes after the teenage sensation crashed out of his only previous FP1 outing at the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. Hamilton announced in February that he will join Ferrari on a multi-year contract from the F1 2025 season, ending his long and successful association with Mercedes. Despite being linked with an ambitious move for reigning three-time world champion Max Verstappen from Red Bull, Mercedes confirmed on August 30th that Antonelli will step up from the F2 feeder series to become George Russell's new teammate from next year. The announcement came the morning after the 18-year-old crashed at Parabolica just 10 minutes into his first ever FP1 session as he made his first appearance on a Grand Prix weekend. With Mercedes yet to fulfill the obligation for both race drivers to sit out one FP1 session each across the season to allow rookie drivers a chance, the team have confirmed that Antonelli will drive Hamilton's car in opening practice in Mexico City this weekend. Antonelli said, "I'm looking forward to driving in FP1 and playing my part in helping the team make a good start on track this weekend. It is a new circuit for me, and one I have been working hard to prepare for. The altitude makes it unique, and it's a challenge I'm excited to experience. I want to thank the team for giving me this opportunity to contribute. Mercedes are aiming to respond following a challenging weekend in the United States, where Russell and Hamilton both crashed at the same corner in qualifying and the race, respectively. Hamilton suffered his worst qualifying results since the 2017 Brazilian Grand Prix by lapping a lowly 19th in Austin, Texas, before spinning into retirement on the opening lap.